going to start this conversation off now with a quick let's vent because that's how I start my videos, but also starting off just like this. I am going to display the contradiction in just being human and making my point that there is something a little bit inhuman about the social media revolution, about the ability to share every single thought with every single person that will listen. And I say that because there's something human about keeping a little bit close to the chest. There's something human about having inner thoughts that you don't share with everyone. And even though I know that the people on Twitter still have those inner thoughts, there are a whole lot more inner thoughts out there on social media, on the internet, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on TikTok, on etc. that would not be out there if those platforms weren't available. There'd be a whole lot more snail mail and whispered secrets without the avenue that social media has paved. And that's okay. But I think we as a human society all over the world, I think we're all trying to deal with the dramatic change that social media has brought us. And as human beings, we have to give each other opportunities to learn and to grow and to understand what these changes in our society has caused in us as individuals and as a people as a whole. I still think that we need to pull from our inner humanity sometimes and not just hold some things back, but also do a lot of self-examination before we decide to share. I think that's the biggest thing that's been removed from our society with social media, with the age of influencers and creators and those types of things. There has been created a vacuum where there used to be time for self-reflection before we shared our thoughts with individuals or with groups, where there had to be effort to gather people together. Not that there's not effort now. I'm not disrespecting those people that can call to large groups within society toward a main or common cause and cause things to happen. I'm not saying that that is not tricky and difficult and does not take effort. It absolutely does. But what I'm saying is that there is an opportunity that is lost when we remove that time delay. A lot of people are critics of The Secret now, saying that, the law of attraction doesn't work, or that it's a simplification of a larger understanding, etc., etc. And I would agree with all of those points, actually, as being a person that has read up on the law of attraction, read The Secret, seen the movie, read the Seth materials, read the Esther Hicks materials and Abraham Hicks and all of those things. I understand the law of attraction. I get that, but I feel like in a sincere fashion, if you're constantly talking about something, then you can't help but see that. That's not a law of attraction. That's just common sense, right? If I'm constantly talking about Susan and constantly talking about Susan and constantly talking about Susan, whoever Susan is, just using that as an example, if I'm constantly talking about Susan, guess what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Susan. I'm thinking about Susan. I'm talking about Susan. Susan has consumed whatever is going on in my mind. I can't think about Jill because I'm concentrating on Susan. Does that mean Jill's not relevant? No, it doesn't. Jill could be extremely relevant. But if I'm not concentrating on Jill and I'm only concentrating on Susan, Jill can do whatever she wants. And so you get caught that way. Concentrating on Karen or Susan or whoever when it should be Jill that you're watching. Just because of the color of her skin or the nature of her socioeconomic background or whoever she chooses to sleep with in her own private time. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, they not having sex in the Burger King bathroom, as they say. You don't have to worry about who she's sleeping with. So none of those things matter. But if you're not concentrating on Jill, then Jill can do whatever she wants. That's the benefit of anonymity. That's the benefit of not being on people's radar. That's the benefit of not sharing every single thought with the quote unquote public, right? You don't have to worry about what people are talking about or what people are saying because they're not talking and saying anything about you because you keeping your shit low. And so you don't have to worry about those criticisms or investigations or inquiries into what's going on with you. That's how Jill benefits from you concentrating on Susan or whoever. Like you're not paying attention to what's happening. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, right? So that to me is ultimately the issue with social media is once you put your cards out there, you leave it for people to analyze, to break down, wonder about, comment on all of these things when before social media we didn't have those issues. We had an opportunity to sit with our thoughts, maybe write them down, maybe talk to ourselves in the privacy of our own homes where nobody else was around and we could kind of talk through it, us and a God, you know. Nobody else there but you and God. You have a conversation and you work through your thoughts. And then if you want to put pen to paper or make a phone call or whatever the case may be back in the 80s when I was growing up, you know, put pen to paper, you made a phone call. Won't no internet, won't no DMing, won't none of that. And you had time to think. You had time to pray. You had time to go through your process so that you could put your best foot forward and present your ideas and your thoughts to the person or people that they were directed directly at versus just throwing it out there for everybody. Which I feel can leave individuals who choose to do that at a disadvantage. Now, mind you, social media brings a lot of wealth, prestige, attention, and I don't knock anybody for doing that. I don't. But I do think, once again, you leave yourself open. When you're constantly commenting on what's going on in the world, when you're constantly sharing your individual energy and thoughts and feelings with the outside world, because you have the platform to do so, there may be less time for self-reflection or private conversation or private one-on-one, two-on-two small group interaction versus everybody getting involved if they decide that that's prudent for them to do so. So it makes our world a little bit more complicated, a lot more divided. And that's, you know, once again, 100% my opinion, but I mean, a social media revolution has definitely been a revolution. If you don't understand that, if you don't see that, then you're just not paying attention to what's happening in reality. Our shared reality. Not what's happening in your house. Not what's happening on your phone from your perspective, like me looking at my phone right now recording. That's an interaction. But once I share it, then it becomes everybody's interaction. And that's the point. It's like, hey, this is me sharing my inside with the world, leaving myself open for judgment, for all of the things that come with somebody not necessarily understanding where you're coming from, understanding your past, understanding your history, understanding your experiences. You're leaving them all the opportunity. to jump on it and say something. And hey, if you can handle that, that's great. And a lot of YouTubers out there and a lot of, people that are on social media platforms from TikTok, with very short form videos all the way up to YouTube where you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, BitChute, Rumble, all these different opportunities, Reddit, where you can share your opinion. You have all these opportunities to share your opinion, but sometimes I feel like having those opportunities may rob us of the opportunity to self-reflect and to have those conversations with God where we can gain some clarity before we share what's going on. And I think it's been tricky for a lot of people in the game because you don't realize what you're opening yourself up to when you take to social media to share your thoughts. Because you feel like, okay, these are my thoughts. I should be safe for me to share them. It's safe for you to share them with a family member that you trust. It's safe to share them with a friend that you trust. It's safe to share them with an instructor, mentor that you trust. But you are sharing it with any and everybody that will listen. And if you feel like that doesn't carry responsibility, challenges, and all types of other energies that you may not agree with, then, you're not being realistic about what is going on in our world today. And I'm hoping that saying this allows me to reflect on the situation and also allows anyone that may hear this to reflect on the situation, since I'm going to share this, because I feel like most people, with all of the polish and I want to say self-critique without outside critique of doing these videos and things like that, sometimes it can come off like you don't care about other people. And I don't think everybody that shares videos and thoughts and Twitter tweets and posts and things like that, I don't think that they're insensitive specifically or necessarily. I think that and the opportunity to share things instantly as soon as you're thinking them, it doesn't allow us as individuals to self-reflect and think about, hey, should I say this out loud? And this whole video, I want to say, has been inspired by a YouTuber named The Quartering, Midwest white gentleman, seems to have, I won't say strictly conservative like Trump, QAnon views, but does seem to have a more conservative view of life. But I can respect that. I can respect somebody who thinks differently than me. But I bring him up simply to say that he made a video about people making comments about the Hurricane Ian situation. And though I may agree with some of the political views of the people that made the comments, I still felt like the comments were despicable because they were inhumane. Anytime you are talking about other human beings getting hurt for whatever reason is not okay. And for me personally, being 42, being grown, having a child during the time of Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Rita, which came right after that, I remember some white conservatives and evangelicals saying that Hurricane Katrina was judgment on the black people that lived in that area and judgment for how New Orleans carried on, etc. And I felt like it was wrong when they said that. So I am not going to sit here and act like it's okay for leftists and liberals and other people that think closer to the way that I think to say that it's okay for Hurricane Ian to hit Florida because it's karma for what happened with DeSantis shipping those asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard. I'm not okay with that at all. I'm not okay with that at all. Nobody deserves to get hurt because of other individuals' personal opinions. other people's political opinions. Nobody deserves to die. Nobody deserves to be put in harm's way. Even if they don't die, they don't deserve to be put in harm's way. I don't care if you agree with me or not. So that video prompted me to do this short vent, because usually my vents last 30 minutes or so this is only 15 minutes, so I think it was a short vent. But I feel like it was a necessary event for me to get out that it's not okay for us to wish harm upon the people that don't agree with us. It doesn't matter what you think. You're God's child. I may not be an evangelical Christian, but I do follow the teachings of Christ. And I do believe that you treat people how you want to be treated. Very simple. Love God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's it for me. Don't give me a label. But I follow the teachings of Christ. I follow those two. He said those two commandments. You can relate all of the prophets and scriptures. That's it. Love God, love your neighbor. I don't want to see my neighbors hurt. I don't care if they agree with me or not. We're not all going to agree. That's what makes this world amazing and beautiful, is because we're all different. So no one should be hurt because they don't agree with me. Yeah, karma comes. I believe in karma. I'm a Scorpio. I love to see karma come. I love to see it come, okay? But I'm not going to be presumptuous enough to think that karma is strictly doing stuff to make me feel better, or directly hurting someone that has hurt me. When you see things play out, okay, you can have little comments and things. I've said stuff that I'm not proud of. I've said, oh, well, I seen this person get hurt and karma's a bitch. Okay, yeah, karma is a bitch. But you know what, though? Karma's a bitch all the way around. She don't judge people. She just react. So if you say some fucked up shit behind somebody else's fucked up shit's still gonna happen to you. Is all I'm saying. Censor or no, I'm sorry. That's the way it is. If messed up stuff happens to you because of someone else and then you wish messed up stuff to happen to them, guess what? Messed up stuff's gonna happen to you in return. It's a constant wheel. It's not just a wheel that goes 360 and then stops. No, it keeps moving. So if you wish bad stuff, then bad stuff's gonna happen to you, and then the bad stuff is gonna keep going around and around and around. At some point, we gotta break the cycle. That's what I'm saying. And the social media revolution has not helped, because we can share every thought at any time as soon as it hits us. And sometimes we need to keep our thoughts to ourselves.